A cat surfer, a bear good at dancing, multifunctional dog, walking with a clingy duck, the kindest lamentin, and much more. In this episode, you'll see the most interesting, funniest, and insane cases with animals caught on camera. Some say dogs are absolutely useless in the household, and it's a myth that they're man's best friend, considering this the major misconceptions of our time. Yep, how could it not be so? The dog from this video proves that he can listen to his mistress and understand everything she tells him. Even if she even asks to take off her socks, this noble dog agrees to everything. This dog, if you would also like to have a loyal four-legged friend, is ready to take off your socks, bring you a cup of coffee, and change the channel on the TV. Baseball games are considered something boring, and I would even say incomprehensible to many people. What follows when they throw that ball? Where do the players run to, and how are points counted? So many questions, and it's hard to understand it all. It's much more fun to watch the camera outside while at the match because sometimes it can capture really rare moments. In this case, for example, the camera filmed a boy walking his favorite dog and letting him ride his skateboard. The four-legged dog was definitely on his wave, riding so clearly and at the same time fast as many people cannot. By the way, this boy is a devoted fan of the team who was late for family reasons but still came to the match. And his dog is a loyal and kind companion who's always by his side. If I were the other fans, I'd make a banner in their honor. They're such a colorful couple. The people in the following story decided to install hidden cameras somewhere in the middle of the woods. They planned to film the lives of the local bears to see how they hunt, eat, where they spend their free time, and things like that. But what they actually managed to film is amazing. People captured a dancing bear that walked up to the nearest tree, stood on its hind legs, pressed its back against it, and started to turn in different directions, all the while holding onto a branch at the top. Personally, it reminded me of the dance of some singer who stands at a microphone and moves to the beat of his music. So is the bear moving on in our talent show? What's your assessment? It's not just rough bears that can be so playful and lilting in the wild, but also giant, unapproachable elephants. When the situation is favorable, they too can relax. In the presence of their elders, of course, because no one ever forgets about safety, but still. In this video, a man was resting next to a group of elephants when suddenly a mother and her cub came to visit him. Probably the baby wanted to play with the man, and the mother couldn't refuse him. As a result, she stood nearby and controlled everything so that nothing dangerous happened. And the baby at the same time had fun and spent energy on all 100% having a great time. Agree to become a best friend for an elephant, even if only for a couple of minutes, is worth a lot. When people have bad luck and find themselves in an unenviable position, losing sight, hearing, losing a limb, they often discover a predisposition for something else. They may learn to play the guitar amazingly, discover a unique gift or something. Apparently it works exactly the same way in animals, because you have a living example of it in front of you. This cute cat named Cooley was homeless his whole childhood. At one point he got a terrible infection, but no one could help him. No one except random passers-by who never had pets at all. Nevertheless, Cooley caught their attention at first sight and immediately won their hearts. They took the kitten with them, treated it, but the eye still had to be removed. Nevertheless, Fluffy moved to Hawaii and discovered an incredible love for surfing. Now he regularly conquers the waves together with the owner, supporting her in all her endeavors concerning the board. According to the girl, at first they rolled the cat on separate surfboards and put a life jacket on the brave pet, but now the cat already swims perfectly well on his own and is not even afraid to ride on the same board with his mistress. Despite the fact that it's deep and quite dangerous, the little guy trusts his friend 100%, and that's very cool. Flooding is a terrible phenomenon that unfortunately cannot be avoided by all those who live near seas and oceans. Water can often overflow its banks and flood towns and nearby villages. Usually nothing follows. The authorities quickly intervene, pump out the liquid, and resume a peaceful life. That would have been the case this time, but something incredible happened. Along with the water, a huge number of snakes crawled out of the forests and nearby bushes. They'd always lived there but somehow remained unseen. Apparently, they got tired of it and decided to show the world what they could do. Fortunately for the locals, none of the snakes were aggressive. They just walked and swam around the village, and when the water went away, crawled back to their homes. However, such a story itself could not but alert the residents. What if it happens again? More snakes crawl out and they don't want to leave so easily. How would you act in such a case in the place of the people? Write in the comments. Kindest creature. A lot of people start diving in order to meet some huge, dangerous shark, piranhas, or, I don't know, to shoot a marina. But I'm not really into it. I think I'm not the only person who doesn't ask for trouble. For me, it's much more pleasant and interesting to dive under the water and meet nice, positive creatures. It's easy to get in touch with them, exchange good energy, raise my mood, and still get an energy boost. In short, I'd like to be in the shores of this diver who had a nice vacation with a little manatee. Speaking of these herbivorous mammals, did you know that they can swim at speeds of up to 18 miles an hour? Yeah, I was surprised too, as they don't look like speedy creatures at all. However, it turns out that their huge and massive tail is the perfect flipper, with which they conquer any peak, that is, the depths. And it's because of the tail, by the way, back in the 15th century, sailors took these creatures for mermaids. People thought they were mystic creatures, the stuff of legends, except they're not as beautiful as they say they are. I don't know what the travelers didn't like. As far as I'm concerned, they're quite nice creatures with not less mystic features than the same mermaids. For example, manatees have about 2,000 thick hairs on their face and 3,000 on their body. These innervated follicles help the manatee to sense and explore the world around them in ways we can't even imagine. A young couple out for an evening walk, just him, her, and their favorite little dog. The road is illuminated by a pleasant moon, and there's incredible silence on the street. It would seem that what could ruin this moment? Let me put it this way. There's no way I would have believed what happened next without a surveillance camera capturing it all. At the moment when their dog went to the bathroom, so to speak, the couple was attacked by a giant bear. He began to chase the people dozens of meters, and they rushed to run toward the house. Luckily for them, they had no time to get far at that moment, so everyone, even their dog, managed to hide behind the door. The bear didn't go for a ram, it just stopped, resigned himself to the failure of the hunt, and went his way back into the forest. I'm afraid to imagine what could have happened if the bear had caught up with the people running away from him. If I were the residents of this neighborhood, I would report this case to the authorities. Let them somehow establish control over wild animals in the area, because this is not a good thing at all. It's much better for people to be chased by unusual guests like this. This cute duck ran after the man. It's not clear what exactly the bird wanted from him, whether the latter wanted him to follow her and help her in some way or to feed her. Or maybe the duck was just chasing the man away from its territory. Can such a thing even happen? In short, the reason for such a strange behavior of the baby, I cannot name. I hope that at least you can come up with it. I look forward to hearing your versions in the comments. Loving Golden Retriever. Golden Retrievers are very kind dogs. I've been convinced of this more than once. They constantly come to people's aid, acting as psychologists for them, and play the role of lifesavers in the truest sense of the word. But you must realize that there's a price to pay, right? Firstly, of course, delicious food and warm shelter, without which there's nowhere. And secondly, affection and care, which people cannot always show. If it happens that your dog needs it and the owner is busy, here's the life hack. Take the dog to visit the horses. I assure you they will definitely get along. I don't know what it is, an invisible bond or something else, but those three in the video are absolutely having a great time, and they don't need anyone else. Remember that story about the baseball fanboy and his skateboarding dog? Well, it looks like they have a worthy rival for the title of the most devoted fan. If we're looking at animals, it's this dog. It constantly watches the soccer matches of its favorite team, asks its owner to put a branded scarf on it, and wants its favorite team to become the champion. Here, just look at how much joy and kindness she radiated when her favorite team scored a goal. That's something else. It's amazing that a dog doesn't react so strongly to every event in a match, but only when his team scores. you have to admit that dogs are very clever creatures. They cover some things up. That's what I would safely say about these two sly beauties with a tail. Dogs behave as they usually do, but exactly until their owner says the word police. Immediately after that, their face literally disappears. They start running in different directions, fussing and whining. It's as if the dogs know some secret that they must never tell the police or they'll get in trouble. I wonder if their owners somehow train them so that they now react strangely to random words. Or is it really a genuine reaction with an awareness of the meaning of the word? What do you think? The backyard is the perfect place to have a picnic. Have a sit-down, have a good time. Forget about the hustle and bustle of the city, the cars, and in a way, society in general. But what else is good about a backyard is that it's absolutely peaceful. There's no one bothering you, no one prying about, no one standing over you, no one but the security camera. The bears in this video did not take this moment into account and organized a showdown right under the technological gaze. The residents of the house do not know what exactly these talented animals were at odds over, and in general, they admitted that they had no idea how the bears got into their territory. There's a high fence around. It's only in front of the camera where it doesn't exist. Everything's in the trees, but behind them is a solid barrier. This story prompted the residents to check the security of the house, and it turned out that in one of the corners, the animals had tunneled their way and sneaked there with peace of mind. Joy on trifles. The main value in life is not money, and not even some gourmet meals or anything like that. It's important to be able to rejoice in the little things. That's what happiness consists of. For example, the fact that it snowed somewhere nearby. Why not try to catch it even though you have paws, the raccoon from this video thought. Personally, I fully support him in this. The video turned out to be just amazing, cute and kind, the way animal videos should be. Okay, wait, did someone say cute? I've got another video here, specially prepared for this occasion. On it, the owner filmed her favorite fluffy kitten, who was sleeping sweetly and thinking about nothing. Next to him were two turtles, and one of them was hugged with his soft paws. It'd be interesting to know why the kitten became friends with these creatures. They're completely different. These fluffy animals like to play, have fun, run, jump, spend energy, whereas turtles cannot. They would do the same, but at a much more relaxed pace. How do you think the cat made friends with these guys in the shell? However, such love, as practice shows, is not only between two animals. Sometimes it can also be shown by underwater inhabitants towards humans. A diver descended to a new depth and met an amazing little octopus. This little guy immediately clung to the man's hand but didn't intend to attack him. Thus, it showed love and care to the leather giant, which cannot but be hilarious. By the way, did you know that octopuses are able to experience and feel psychological pain? This is the only case in nature among invertebrates. And scientists still cannot understand what octopuses need this mechanism for. The fact that psychological pain is an important evolutionary quality of social animals. For example, someone from the pack got hurt, and other members of the pack empathize with him and help survive. But octopuses are loners. They settle in the neighborhood with fellow creatures of similar size, but do not form any serious social ties with one another. That's why such a strange and unusual phenomenon is yet to be understood by scientists. And what I realized immediately from the following video is that its author was very attached to this chipmunk. The story about him is as follows. The chipmunk regularly visited the man, brought him small gifts, and took care of him in every possible way. The man also did not stay aside and fed the little one in return. And at some point when it started to get cold, he built a house for it, gladly accepted by the animal. The chipmunk organized it for himself, brought in provisions, and began to live there. The chipmunk got the name Chapo, although it was not officially domesticated by man, but such a relationship, as I think, suits both of them. That's about it. Write in the comments which case surprised you the most. If you're interested, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.